Hello, we're starting the felting part now. You'll notice that I've put an old towel on the table, and on top of that some bubble wrap, bubble side up, okay, bubble side up, and because it's going to get pretty wet in a minute, and I've laid our design that we've just sort of laid out, our composition, and because it's still very fluffy, there's the real one, okay, this is very lightly felted here. We're going to have to sort of trap it by using the piece of netting you'll find in your thing, and actually you will put it down very, very carefully because it will pick up everything and you don't want to move it, so you'll use both hands to flatten it down. So now we have our piece, our layout piece is all ready, and we have laid it onto bubble wrap on top of towel, and we've put some piece of netting on top of there. You can use an old lace curtain. So we're now going to wet it down. We're going to use warm water into which you can put a few drops of fairy liquid, or the favourite thing is olive oil soap to mix it down with, so that's good. So I'm going to do a squirt of olive oil there. It's sort of hand hot. You don't want it too soapy. And I'm going to go over now and try and find my ball browser. Oh yes, there it is. This is my ball browser. This is going to emulate a summer shower. In fact, you can just use a plastic bottle with a few holes knocked into the top there. But you see it's got some holes there. Yeah, and it contains that, and I'm just going to sprinkle all the way across. I'm not going to drench it, I'm just going to make sure the water's come down all the way down. You'll probably take say if you're using a litre milk bottle for your things, it'll probably take about 3/4 of a litre of water, but take it all the way down. When you get to the bottom, you're now going to use your hands and you're going to press down and flatten. Don't move it around, don't do this, just down flat, because you don't want to dislodge your design. You're going to press it down all over. At this point you can find where it's either squelchy wet or there might be some dry patches as well, so I'm going to move it all the way down. And it's lovely and wet. It's very nice. It's a bit drenched, but not too drenched. There is a trick for that. I can't find it now, but if you actually do have one of those a sponge, if you dab a sponge on, that will soak up any excess water at this point. So you're feeling all over. Is it totally wet? Don't lift up the netting at the moment, because this is not felting. This is just damping down. After a while, I like now to use my soap as a massaging tool. When I've pressed down a lot, I'm very gently going to massage all the way along, very gently, as if it's a baby's bottom. Very gently, all the way down. So I'm working the soap in. The soap does something to the pH value, but I'm not dislodging anything. I'm just very gently massaging now, all the way down. And I carry on like this for another sort of 5-10 minutes of massaging very gently all over, mainly pressing down. I don't want to sort of move anything around, and I daren't look at it, because if I pull up the netting it will pull away the fibres at the moment. But you can start to see colours coming through the water. Remember, this is already partly felted. There is a tool called a palm felter tool, which after about 10 minutes of gentle palming, we call this stage, you can gently move this across. It's slightly more vigorous, and you can go up and down. My husband makes these for me. Now, I forgot to mention, the sheep can become detached. I always put a bit of white wool in. After you've put your fleeces down, sprinkle a few little bits of white wool on top. It helps glue the sheep in place, okay, because it can move around a bit, but don't worry, you can always needle felt it back into position afterwards. So you carry on like this, and about 20 minutes rubbing, sit down, have a cup of coffee with one hand and do that. So this is the palming process. See you in a bit.